right.
Okay, welcome everyone. We have a really exciting show tonight. We have some special guests from the Doss House. I'm going to read you a little intro on it first, and then we're going to introduce the lovely ladies.
Wait for people to come in. There's like nobody in here yet.
Well, yeah, but I'm going to read you a little intro on it first, and then we're going to come on, people, come on in. Well, yeah, but don't you think because they can.
I mean, you can. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's showing 2 up there. Well, unless that means there's B squared. There they go.
Hello,
B squared. Okay, we said we're going to be having an exciting show here tonight. We have, I'm sure everybody's aware, we're going to have the ladies from the Doss House on. Kiwi's on.
Eric, you're going to have to turn that down.
I'm going to do a little bit of bio on these lovely ladies first in the Doss House, and then we're going to go into bringing them on stage. Located in Loretto, Pennsylvania, the Doss House, built in 1810, was the first home built on land that was once home to the several native Indian tribes until 1799, when Prince Gallitzin and Charles Schwab started their lasting impression on the town. Father Demetrius Augustine Gallitzin's final resting place is in a tomb at the east end of Castle. East end, wait a minute. Of town, east end of town is Charles Schwab's The Man of Steel limestone castle adorns the west end. If you're a history buff, you can determine what this may mean to you, but I know what irony means to me. Right in the middle of this ironic time-stamped town sits the Doss House. Maybe just a coincidence. We have come to find out that this house was the resident of the town's only doctor, and then the town's only barber, which has been confirmed by many others that they both are still very much there working and residing. Or maybe you might get a chance to play tag with the apparition of the little girl in the green dress. If you're brave enough to head down to the basement, you may encounter some of the shadow figures that have been spotted and hear an audible growl. If the random mantle in the basement confuses you, that's okay, because it does us as well. Be careful when you head upstairs to explore the bedrooms, because there has been an incident of someone being pushed down the stairs, and that spirit has been known to try and repeat the past. If you feel compelled to take a step back into centuries and decades of time to try and uncover life, death, murder, and mysteries, reach out to the Doss House. And then we have their email on that, which we can post in that on there. And also the ladies that are associated with it are Unique Paranormal 1.5. So with that being said, let's give a big welcome to Shauna and Danielle from the Doss House.
Hey guys.
Hi everyone. How are you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
Hey, that's good. We're going to have a chance for you guys to give a little bit of by yourself, like anything you want to say, a little bio yourself, or a little excerpt of the Doss House, something that you want to say. We'll start with you, Shauna. Go ahead and tell us a little something.
Basically, it's just a very unique location that we just happened to stumble upon. My wife was looking for a haunted location for us to purchase in honor of my mother, Holly Cataldo. That's where all of this began, was with her. And it was just by fluke that we stumbled upon this awesome little place that is quite an incredible one to say for the paranormal community. We're really excited about it.
Awesome. I know we can't wait till we go there. Like, we want to come over for a tour, which you guys invited us, and we definitely want to do an investigation real soon.
Absolutely.
Danielle, what do you want? What do you want to add?
I mean, Sean just kind of covered it.
Have you been part of the house? Like, have you both personally done an investigation in the house yourself?
Yeah.
Anything exciting you want to share with anybody?
We actually did our very first investigation in there about 2 nights before we decided to purchase it.
Oh, really?
Yes, we got in contact with the then owner of the property to see if they would let us in, and they did. They kind of were a little intrigued, So we went in. What was it? On like 2 nights later.
Yeah,
Night.
we initially saw the property from the outside, and then kind of was like, hope you don't think illy of this, because you never know how people are going to take the thought of paranormal, and proceeded to ask them if we could gain access to the house before making a decision. And she was wonderful, and she said absolutely. And then Danielle can give you a little rundown of what happened in there our very first time.
Now, when she put the house up for sale, or the past owners, did they put it up for sale because of paranormal activity, or were they just relocating? Do you know?
Actually, the house wasn't even for sale. Found it.
Oh,
That's crazy.
well, that's interesting.
It is very interesting. We were just driving through this very small, quaint town, and we kind of came across it. It's like a little diamond in a rough sitting back in there, nestled in. Nobody really notices it. And we were very intrigued by it. We had very good feelings about it. So we come to find out who the owner was. We contacted the owner and basically asked if we could go in and see if there's anybody in there that would still like to talk to us.
Nice.
So she agreed, and we went in. About 2 nights later, there was like five. There was five of us, I believe. It was me and Shauna, our teammate Beth, our teammate Chloe, and Beth's husband, who very much does not believe in this stuff. So we went in and we decided that we were gonna see what was gonna happen. So we didn't even really get any of our stuff completely set up before the house decided to start letting us know that there were things there that wanted to talk.
And then you guys said, "Hey, wait, I want to buy this."
Things literally started with a bang.
Well, what started happening? Like, what can you fill us in on? Like, what kind of things did you experience that right off the bat?
Go ahead, Danielle.
Okay, so when we went in tonight, and we were in the living room, and the house was very much not inhabitable for humans at that point. So we were kind of just sitting around, and we were trying to like cover up some of the furniture with clean things like garbage bags and whatnot. And there was Beth and Brent were over. Well, Brent was over on the little couch, and Chloe and Shauna were sitting on the love seat. And it was kind of like in an L shape, like how the sofa and the love seat were sitting. And there was an end table in the middle of all of that. I was standing at the end of it, and Beth had just walked over, opened up a garbage bag, and was putting it on the couch for her to sit on. And in that moment, it was like, I don't even know, a bomb went off into the basement. It was such a big, loud bang that me standing on the floor, it actually rose the floor. I kind of jumped up.
Oh my
Everybody
goodness.
in the room could feel it. And we were like, oh my God, what was that? So I and our friend Brent was like, in the basement, like a squatter. So we went outside, got our flashlights, hurried up, went clear down back, and went in the basement door. And mind you, at this point, the basement was just filled with years and years of just hoarding. And we walked in, had the flashlight, walked in, searched everywhere, nothing. Went to the back basement where the oldest part of the house.
Which that part of the basement was completely empty at that time.
There was nothing in that part of the
Oh,
basement.
wow.
It was the only part of the house that was not hoarded.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, when
Now,
we
is
went,
there history of that part of the basement of something happening there? Do you know of?
Not anything that we have found actually documented. There's actually not a whole lot of information out there about this location. We're learning that bits and pieces keep popping up here and there. Frank, the gentleman that does a lot of the historical society stuff over there, he actually had tried to have this property deemed a historical site, but could not because from like, I think they said it was like 1810 to like 1863. It was like the property didn't exist. There was no actual documentation that it even existed. So therefore they couldn't deem it an actual historical site because of that lapse in paperwork that nobody can seem to find.
Well, see, the problem with it is like Loretto. Anybody that knows where Loretto is, it is smack dab in the middle of nowhere. It's a small town, and all throughout Pennsylvania, you get that. You get just, you go, you drive along, and you're in the middle of nowhere, and all of a sudden you see this house.
Yeah.
And you're like, is there somebody living in there? Is it abandoned? Because that's what piques our curiosity all the time when we drive around, where they're like, oh, look at that house. Is there somebody living there? If not, we want to go explore that, It's such a shock. Yeah, it calls out to you. Like, yeah. So you don't really have much history on the place. And how did you, like, the information that you do have, is it just through the experiences that you had, or have you been able to dig up some of the information that you actually do have on it right now?
A lot of the actual facts that we do have, we actually found a lot of documentation in the house when we were cleaning it out. Frank, the historian, he was actually best friends with the last homeowner that was there. So he knows a lot of factual things about the family that was there. Speaking with the family that still owned it, who we purchased it from, lots of information from them. Just digging back in history, our teammate Brittany is on ancestry.com. So she's actually the one who's been able to actually recently find a lot of actual documentation, past deeds, things like that, that we've been able to kind of correlate everything together to put some pieces together on stuff that we've, paranormally that we've come up with just being in the house. But outside of that, nothing else.
The prior owners, did they say if they had any experiences in there?
They did. Danielle, do you want to tell the story of that?
well, from the historian of the town, he kindly come over while we started cleaning out the property. And little towns, everybody seems to, make their own stories or has their own opinions on what's going on new in their town. So as he was sitting there and we're chit-chatting, and he kindly said, "Oh yeah, by the way, back in 1976, the previous owners were having so much difficulty with unexplained happenings in the house that they brought in a paranormal team for an investigation to see if they could find out what was going on, how to stop it." So he said, "I really didn't ask them too much about I just knew that it happened in 1976. He said, "I knew the team came in, and the previous owner, which he was very close with, very good friend, basically just said that the group found that there was something not so nice in the dwelling of the house."
Wow.
That's all Frank was told. And he said, I didn't press anymore. He said, because it was a private family matter trying to take care of.
Right. And in a Catholic town, and back in 1976, this type of thing was frowned upon.
Absolutely. Even now, certain places you go, like where we're at, there's a lot of religious people, and we're kind of wary about saying what we do. I mean, I think everybody should know by now, but people just react like it's. I'm going to be honest with you. I have relatives that they wanted us to stop because I think they don't understand that paranormal is not dabbling in with evil or the devil or anything like that. You just want to find out, is there an afterlife? Can
Right.
we possibly talk to loved ones? What's going on? Because there's so many things that can't be explained. But for some reason, a lot of people, especially real religious people, and I'm not knocking religion, but they kind of think that you're dabbling in evil and demonism and all just stuff like that because they don't understand the field.
Right. And it probably is because they do hear there are a lot of groups out there that's all that they're looking for. Don't get me wrong.
That's true.
It's just the intent of your group and what you're looking to get out of the paranormal field. And if you're like how you're explaining, with life, there is death. We all know that. And I believe most people, and not everyone, I can't speak for everybody, believe that there is something after you leave the physical world, whether it's you believe in heaven or whatever that may be. There is something after death. And that's all we're intrigued to find out. Like you said, so many unexplained things that a scientific brain, like my wife used to have, explaining everything away. But there just comes a point where there's things you can't explain. There's intelligent responses you can't explain.
Right.
I still try real hard though.
He's the debunk pro.
Now, how long have you guys been associated with the Doss house? How long has it been since you took possession of the house?
Well, we looked at the house this past summer. So I believe it was July, I think, was it, Danielle? July?
No. It was more like August.
End of summer, fall time.
Yeah.
And like I said before, we, after my mom passed, we took over her group and then it became our mission to find a haunted location. So like when we say we're going to do something, man, we do it and we get her done. So we found and got into the location and we had it ready to go within 2 months.
Nice.
Yeah. We opened for this on October 31st.
Yep. We made it our goal to be open and ready to go by Halloween. And that's what we did. We were over there every day, all day, re-supporting the structure, fixing things, to make sure it was at least weatherproof and safe for people to go in there. The roof, had to get the roof repaired, get the plumbing repaired. So there were bathroom facilities, get the heat repaired so that people could have a nice, cozy place to investigate during the winter. And like I said, just making things safe. Then we took it to the next level of, hey, what do we like to have when we go places to ghost hunt? So look, she's getting some stuff in her place too.
We experienced stuff here. We just sort of
She looked behind her, and then you looked behind you.
Now, when people book for an overnight there, do they normally sleep there, or they just investigate and go back? They don't sleep there?
No, typically people don't sleep there. I mean, you're more than welcome to. We did have one group who actually did sleep there, West Virginia. Cindy from Sweet Springs Sanitarium. I believe that's the name of the place, Sweet Springs.
Yeah, Sweet Springs.
She slept upstairs. And then the two other couples that were there, one group set up an air mattress in the living room, another group in the barbershop. I never did get a chance to talk to them to see what did happen at night. I think they probably went to sleep, if I remember correctly, was about 2 a.m. But then everybody was back up and at it by like 6 or 7. Besides that, we had one team member attempt to do an overnight in there. I think she only fell asleep, not on purpose, but by accident for about an hour as she was blasting her, Netflix and being on the phone. But outside of that, no, nobody has actually, just laid down that at night and went to sleep.
Now, do you feel, I don't know what anybody else has told you that when they investigated, but on your own experiences for the time you have had there so far, do you feel like there is anything, since investigators years ago said that they did encounter something not nice? Do you feel that there's anything there that is harmful, or do you think it's just something, whatever happened there could just be an angry spirit and they were angry in real life, so they're just not happy in death?
Danielle, you want to go?
I don't feel that it's harmful. I don't. I feel that it's very intimidating. It's very it likes to it's very controlling. It likes to control the other spirits of the house, very much so. It also I yeah, it's not harmful. It's just a very gloomy,
Unsettling feeling.
settling feeling of just dominance and a little bit of, anger, a little bit of sternness, like
Like a doom and gloom kind of
Yeah.
view.
yeah,
Mhm.
See, that's what we try to tell people, like even about the jail. Down in that dungeon, there's something down there, but there's people, whoever was down there, they were tortured. They were living in bad
Right.
conditions. They're not going to be happy campers since they passed away. They're going to be living their life like they did when they were alive. So they're not going to be happy. But you get these people that come in and right away, you got demons, the devil's there. Like, no, some people, it's like if you get a serial killer.
Mhm.
Once they die, if they do come back in the place they were executed at or where they committed murders, people are going to construe them as evil and demons because that's how they acted. But that doesn't mean they're demons and the source of, like
Mhm.
devil with horns and that type.
Right.
And I wish people would be able to differentiate between the two, that there can be something aggressive and not so nice there, but that doesn't automatically make it a demon.
no,
Right. That is correct. And I think that people have that misconstruation in their mind that they affiliate, even if it's a darker, heavier energy, immediately they try to combine the two together. Now, like we have had some people that have gone in and we tell, like, if you want to know information, we'll tell you information. If you want to know things that we think and feel of the location, we'll tell you. But if you don't, then we don't.
Right.
There has been, I've been forthcoming. Like, we do sense a darker energy here. We don't know what it is. We haven't determined anything about it. These are just the things that we have experienced. And there has been a couple people that have seemed disappointed that they didn't get to encounter something demonic, if that makes sense,
It's
because
a hit and miss what
like
happens.
they're out there, and that's fine if that's what they're into and they want. You know that's their thing to do. But I can't confirm or deny because the location is so new. All I know is I and several others sense a darker energy there. If you're a demon seeker or some type of chaser like that, can't guarantee you that that's going to be there. Probably not. But I can guarantee you will get a lot of spiritual paranormal activity in this location. We have not had a group yet that has not gotten some type of evidence that has made them want to come back for more. That is for absolute certain.
That's nice. That's really good to hear. I know everybody that I've seen that has gone there has said that they had a wonderful experience. That not one person that I heard said they were disappointed from anything that happened there.
Yeah, the whole chat's just nothing but everybody's saying.
Yeah, because we got on chat. I'm not sure if you noticed. We have Michael. I think I saw Ashley on here before. Was Ashley on or no? I see Michael was here. There's some people that was actually at the Doss house. So Michael, of course, 27 Spirits, some awesome people. Do you fear, since you know that there's already a dark spirit there, something that's just off, I don't know what your beliefs are, and as far as like Ouija boards and rituals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you ever fear that somebody may come in, like some of the people that you said that that's what they're looking for is something evil and demonic? Do you have the worries or fear that somebody may come in with a Ouija board or try to do a seance or some kind of ritual to conjure up something that might be pretty wicked in there?
You want me to answer this one?
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing for me is, with the journey of us and the purpose of us having this location, as much as we know that there are a lot of humans in the world that are not the greatest humans and don't have the same type of intent that we do, moving forward, we just choose to have the intent to give everybody the benefit of the doubt until proven otherwise, because this is a place for everybody to enjoy. And I feel like if you're truly there for the right reasons, the experience that you're going to have is going to leave you stunned anyways. So do I think, I mean, there are people that do know how to actually use and conduct a Ouija board in an appropriate way. I don't necessarily believe that a Ouija board is a bad thing. Just like I'm not sure if you're familiar with table tipping. We actually participate in that quite often. It's a very enlightening experience for us. We communicate through spirit in a very positive way like that. So I guess it's, it's just a judge of character when people, come to the house. And if I have a very good sense of being able to read people, I would like to think. That if I felt like something shady was going to go down, I would probably just say, hey, like our goal here is to be respectful of spirit at all costs. Like that is our goal here. Please don't, try to bring in or be rid of anything that's here. We want this place to stay as it is. And that's the only way you can, in my opinion, do it to try to protect your location. You're not going to be able to control what everybody does. Unfortunately, that's just the way the world is. Nobody has the type of intentions that we do, and all you can do is just try to stay positive and enforce that message that we're trying to get out there with Unique Paranormal 1.5 and now the DOS House, and continuously telling people why we're doing this, what started all of this, the integrity of my mom and how she handled things like this, and just hope and pray for the best that things continue on that path.
Do you want to talk about your mom a little bit of what tell a little bit about your mom's story and how that affected you and how you were able to get into the field because of it?
Okay. My mom actually was very much involved in the paranormal community for a lot of years. For years, I was that skeptic kid that was like, "Oh, Mom, you're so full of bull. Like, whatever, that's not real." I think everybody in the paranormal field has gone through that at some point or another, if they weren't born with gifts. So I was basically the tag along kid that would go and hang out with my mom to spend time with her, and she would, take me to things here or there. Gettysburg we went to quite often. There was a big distance in between us, so it didn't happen often, but that was how we connected. And then over the years, my daughter Chloe got into it, and then I met Danielle, and she started coming along to these things with us. And my mom had formed the original group, Unique Paranormal 1. That's what her group was called, and her motto was basically treating spirit with the utmost respect and everybody being kind to one another and coming together to have a good time and, see what evidence they could find. And everybody was invited. If you wanted to come along, everybody come. If you had a problem with somebody that was coming along, well, that's okay. You don't have to participate, but everybody's welcome. And that's just how she operated. So unfortunately, September of 2023, after a couple years of being ill, she passed away from cancer. And in those moments, I decided, and I don't know why, I decided compelled to continue her group and stay connected with all the people that meant so much to her and doing the paranormal stuff that she absolutely loved so much. And I've just recently kind of connected the dots of putting that this is my grief journey. this is a way that I feel closest to her. She makes herself very known a lot.
I was just going to ask you that.
We are all together doing this. And yeah, that's how it all started, and that's how it's continuing. And don't get me wrong, it's a struggle sometimes, but I know it's all for the greater good, and she's ecstatic about everything that's going on.
Now, how did you and Danielle meet?
Oh man, long story. So circles always connect, right? So my good friend Beth, who was actually my mom, referred to her as another daughter. I had been single for quite some time, and she had finally, after probably a year, convinced me to get on this dating app. And ironically so, Danielle had a good friend that was actually doing the same thing to her. Things just correlated in the right way at the right time, and we connected on there. And actually, again, the circle coming together with, Prince Gallitzin being in this town of Loretto. We actually met for the very first time at the Gallitzin State Park. So then another correlation of that is I lived up in St. Mary's, Pennsylvania, and the Doss house is on St. Mary's Street.
Oh.
Yeah, so there's just a lot of things
Yeah.
that kind of interconnected the circle to make you say, like, yep, my mom was big on professing divine order, and that's definitely happening in our daily life.
So, Danielle, were you into the paranormal before you met Shauna?
I was not. I, as my wife says, I am a very scientific brain. I was born and raised Catholic. So you kind of, I mean, nothing against it, but you're raised a certain way with certain beliefs when you're Catholic. So that's just what I knew. I've been in the medical field for 27 years, so that scientific brain is kind of always there. I believe that there is, I believe that you don't just die, that because, I mean, scientifically, basically all we are is a big ball of energy. I mean, we're firing on neurons all the time. That's what makes us go. Mm-hmm. So I kind of get it. Like, once you pass away, like, energy is forever. It doesn't just stop. So,
right.
So it took a little bit. But yeah, there are things that have happened to me that are very unexplainable. So I kind of really don't have a choice but to believe now.
Well, hindsight's 2020. My mother didn't give her a choice. She did not. She did not give her a choice. When my mom passed away, I think it was probably within 24 hours of her passing, we took care of her up until she passed. And she had basically told Danielle that her gifts were now hers. And she actually, during the last probably 72 hours that my mom was still alive, Danielle actually had been, physically attacked by a spirit. There was a very dark energy around us for a while. We saw things that we never thought we would see in our lives.
Oh, goodness. Did you find out what it was?
Oh, we do that, but that's probably a whole nother episode for a whole nother podcast.
Well, we're going to have to bring you back then, and we're going to have to hear all about it.
It was definitely something that we will never forget. Definitely some scenes that happened that you probably would have seen in horror movies on TV.
Oh, wow.
But moving forward, Danielle definitely, if she had the gifts prior, this happening to her intensified them. She is very gifted when it comes to the paranormal. She can communicate with spirit. She sees spirit now like she never has before. She actually, is being coached by some really close psychic medium friends to help her navigate through this journey that she's not used to.
It's probably kind of scary.
Yeah, it's
Very,
it's a little intimidating for her.
very overwhelming. Yeah.
See, my daughter Gabriella is kind of like that. I'm to a certain extent. Just don't quite understand all of it yet. But the house that we moved from South Carolina before we moved here, that house had so much activity in it, and there was some bad stuff in that house, and it was like in my daughter Gabriella's room, and we had some experiences like you wouldn't believe too. And we went to a cemetery down there in South Carolina. They called Hell's Gate. We had a bad experience down there. I don't know if you guys believe in skinwalkers and stuff like that, but we encountered something, and whatever it was, if we wouldn't have got out of that area, and it was right after they got done performing some kind of ritual there. We know they did that.
Wow.
And but you know how skinwalkers and that they say that you'll hear in the background, like it almost sounds like somebody calling for help or moaning or something, and people will say it could be a coyote or anything.
Yes.
Well, when we first encountered it, Gabriella and they saw eyes first, but it was kind of walking, kind of almost hunched, almost like kind of like a baby bear. Gabriella thought at first, but this was in like February, I think it was. It was while they were in hibernation yet; they weren't out yet. And we had every warning on our spirit box and everything else saying, "Get out, you're in danger."
Yeah, big energy coming, or something big is on its way.
You're in danger. We didn't pay any attention.
We're like, well, yeah, sure, we're not in danger. What are you talking about?
So between that cemetery and the house that we lived in, yeah, we know. I mean, I'm sure it's probably not as. It sounds like yours was pretty traumatic, pretty bad, I guess.
Well, I can't speak for Danielle, but I think the initial traumatic experience of the first things that we encountered were overwhelming for her. But now I think because she has just, spirits on a daily basis who have either, passed away tragically, actually good people, good spirits that were good humans here who are basically just reaching out for somebody to recognize them and for a message to be heard. I think that's what she's been encountering most. Like I said, I can't speak for her, but that's what I see when she's communicating things with me. And she's had quite a few experiences since getting to New Hampshire as well.
Wow.
I seem to be able to communicate very well with other people's loved ones.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm not sure why, but it seems like no matter where I go, no matter what, like things that should have no tie to the Doss house or that town, I communicate with other people's past loved ones. They come there and they seek me out.
Wow.
It's kind of crazy. I'm pretty sure I have had a family member come through for everybody that's ever investigated with me.
It would have been interesting if I would have hung out with you a little bit more than you guys over the jail if my mother would have come through, because I lost my mother years ago, and I know she's around me because there's been things. I had a chime clock that never worked. We didn't even have batteries in it or nothing. It didn't work. And then all of a sudden it worked on cue. I could say, "Mom, are you here?" And the little pendulum would go back and forth.
Well, also the smell of lilac.
Lilac, my mom, yep. So, I mean, I know she comes to me, but it would have been interesting if she would have tried to come through you to talk. That would have been interesting.
What I think is the coolest part about it is most people don't know that Danielle have these abilities. So we could just be standing in a room full of people and she'll just be like, okay, who has lost a female between the ages of 20 and 25 that looks like this? And their name kind of sounds like this. And it resonates to someone in particular in that space at that moment. And then, she can connect with them that way. Or you know
what? We're planning on this is going to be like a little invitation. We're planning on trying to set up. There's a couple of things we want to try to set up. Some of the prior people that have been there investigating, just to come in and have like a group meeting, telling all their experiences that they've had at the jail and whatnot. And we're also trying to plan a public investigation where we maybe have 4 or 5 groups come in all at once, and each area of the jail they can take turns in that going, or however they want to conduct it. It'd be awesome if you guys came back over and see what happens when there was a bunch of groups there.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, we actually wanted to come before Danielle left for New Hampshire, and then we saw that you guys shut down for the winter. I logged on and I'm like, oh, it's blacked out until March, because we were going to try to do like a last minute, let's go to the jail for the night before you have to leave. But then I said, well, we'll get back over there when you come back. So
we didn't want to do that, but with there being holes in the roof and the skylights and everything, there was just too much air coming through the building. And even though we had heat in the offices and electricity in the main areas of the jail, it just got so cold. Even doing a tour, they're like, you come out, if you don't have gloves and that on, you were
and I think that's why most of us got sick.
Yeah,
because we started getting really sick.
We were looking at safety with all the weird, flus going around and pneumonia big. We found it was more safe. Yeah, we're losing money on it by having it closed down for those months, but safety's the utmost priority over there.
Oh, absolutely. I will tell you though, been doing this for about 15 years, and the jail was the first place I had ever caught on camera a full-bodied apparition. First time ever.
Did you guys show a video? Did you have a video out on the jail?
I didn't send it to you, no. But it is in the same location that everybody else has seen the full-bodied apparition.
Oh, wow. You're going to have to definitely send it to me. Or when we come over to visit, because we want to come over some weekday just to do a tour.
Yeah, and share some videos and kind of just talk about experiences and whatnot. So,
did you guys all have an experience down in the dungeon too, where something was getting and calling you guys names and being real rotten with you or something?
No.
I thought that was your group.
No, Chloe knew that there was something standing behind her. Something was standing behind her in the dungeon and gave her an audible growl.
Yes. Jay actually said, if you're here with us, make a noise, bang on something, knock on something. And in that moment, you heard like 2 knocks.
Wow.
Behind us. Yeah, I think that was the only thing we really got down in the dungeon that night. The only other cool thing that we did get at the jail was Danielle a lot of times will like take on the role of like a prison guard or something. And she was walking the hall there, and literally every piece of equipment that we had set up. I think we're on the 2nd floor.
Yeah, we were.
Of the bullpen. And she was walking, and as she walked past every trigger object we had, it went off.
Wow.
That was pretty incredible.
Wow.
And then the other thing that was pretty unexplainable, we put a trail cam down in the basin, the dungeon down there all night long. And when Amy went to retrieve her camera, we got it back here to the house, and it said we had something like 40 something images and a couple videos. She took the memory card out, put it in the laptop, wouldn't read it. Put it back in the camera. Okay, it said 40 something images, took it out, put it back in the laptop, nothing. Put it back in the camera, nothing.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
That's insane.
Yeah, talk about being bummed.
Wow. Yeah. Well, we kind of had that happen at a location we went to. We can't disclose the location because the people don't want to be known. And Gabriella had a bad experience there, by the way. But our audio, it showed
him.
Yeah, both cameras, the camera we were using and the one my son was using, both the audio just kind of totally, it didn't show it that it was interrupting. We had no problem with it when we were doing it because we tested it. But when we took it back to review it, the audio on all of it, both cameras gone. And ironically, they said that was one of the big things that they had issues there at that place is audio and electronic compromises.
The trail cam that we had set up in that main hallway, every time we walked through, was turned back off. Every single time. It was turned back off.
Now, has there been a lot of cool apparitions and things like that caught at the Doss house that a lot of people have shown you so far? That you know of? Has anybody caught anything really extraordinary like that at the Doss house?
Apparitions, I don't think anybody's, if they have, they haven't showed us or said anything to us. We have personally caught shadow figures on our cameras, our surveillance cameras that we have in each room there. We see that. You see that quite often.
Lots of audibles, lots of big bangs and the sounds of things hitting the floor. Today, actually, I was reviewing some footage and heard someone lightly singing is what it sounded like. We had a random light turn on just out of nowhere because the cameras in the house are set for motion and sound. So a random light just happened to turn on. It actually picked up a sound of a vehicle passing by because the house is on a main road. And in the video, you see a light come in from the dining room area, which there's no windows to even allow reflectable light to come through, in a little walkway that's between the kitchen and the dining room. Can't explain that one.
Yeah.
Lots of intelligent responses with equipment, lots of intelligent responses. People seem to get very dialogued responses through Estes in there. That's becoming like a favorite. It's very dialogued. It's very, everything's correlating. I think I was under Estes one time and said something about an alarm, and within a few seconds, there was a car alarm going off in front of the house.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of things like that happen there. Today, actually, I was over there with a couple friends of mine, and we, in the middle of the day, had an amazing experience to the point that I was like, I'm actually going to start investigating over here during the day too, because it was insane the amount of activity we had at the Doss house today.
Wow.
Well, that's a stereotype too. People automatically think that when a place is haunted, that it only means that the nighttime is the only time it's haunted. But you can go in a daytime and it's still haunted. It doesn't matter. It's not like they have it's not like they have a curfew or something.
Yeah. Like, hey, we're gonna wait till dark before we come out.
Yeah. See, for me, it's not necessarily the dark. It's basically, for me, it's like shutting down the power, like the extra energy that you feel with your own senses just from electricity running.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the dark is cool too. I mean, just to see your visuals for your equipment that you have makes it that much more exciting. But for me, it's like just shutting everything down and just sitting and actually listening and, talking openly. And that's when we seem to get the absolute most activity. And when we're all just standing around talking, you get, like, that's what was happening today. We were standing in the kitchen, just having a conversation. It literally sounded like somebody like either dragged a part of the bed or a chair. And then there was a huge thud from upstairs. And then I get a hold of Danielle and I'm like, hey, this happened in the kitchen. I need you to pull the camera footage from the original side of the house, the 1800 side of the house, and try to figure out where that noise came from. Well, as a lot of people who follow us know, we have a lot of issues with timestamps and kind of like time warp issues with our cameras in this location. And the footage that she was looking for, since the moment we went into the house, we had been there for an hour at this point. And there was 35 minutes that was like we didn't even exist in there. And it was that 35 minutes that we were getting all of this activity.
Oh, geez. They wanted it gone.
Yep, nothing.
See, that happened to me over at the jail. I was doing an EVP session 2 different times in Smitty's cell. And I put it in, and I know how long it was because there was a timestamp on it. But when I played it back, the first one, about half of it was cut off, and the other one, it was like about 8 minutes of it was cut off. And I'm there like, wait a minute, the timestamp's showing different. Why does it just cut off there? Something just didn't want to be on video or recorded.
Yeah, I even took the SLS camera over. It would not it would not stay powered on. I got there, I plugged it in so we could use it later on, turned everything on, booted everything up, popped up on the screen, boom, went away. I'm like, okay, checked everything. I'm like, everything says it's fully charged.
Now, is there like one particular spirit or a couple particular spirits that you're so used to that you're there? Okay, hey, I know you're here, and you're like comfortable with them and you correlate with them, maybe even give them a little pet name or something because you're just so used to them?
Go ahead, Danielle, you can take this one. I'll answer the question here at the bottom here after this.
Well, the barber, whose nickname is Doss, and that's how we got the name for the house, the Doss house. He is there all the time. All the time. You can feel him. Sometimes he likes to be a little quiet, but you can feel him. He's there just all the time. He's always kind of like just watching out for you, and occasionally you get to hear, which is kind of weird when you do, but you get to hear the electric clippers kind of running, and while they're
Mhm.
there
Yeah.
are I mean there are electric clippers there. They're his. We found them in the house, but they're locked in a glass case, so they're definitely not running.
Wow. I can't wait to come over there and investigate. We're just trying to get everything set up, but we will definitely be over there for a tour, and we definitely want to investigate. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There are 2 children that are there all the time as well.
I was just going to ask, the little girl that was on you guys' bio that you sent us, is that a very common child spirit that's in that building?
She's there. Yeah, she's there all the time. She's there all of the time. And actually, we're not quite sure how they're attached. All we know is from past family members and family friends that when the barber was alive, he actually would see the little girl in the green dress all the time. She came to him all the time. Was very playful with him.
Mischievous.
Yeah, they are witnesses said that the barber he smoked, and he had one of those old time floor ashtrays that kind of was up on a pedestal and was big and glass at the top. And the witness said they were sitting in the living room talking to the barber, and he was in his chair and he was smoking a cigarette, and he said, "Here she comes." And he said, "Don't you do that." And next thing you know, they said this ashtray went flying across the living room.
She didn't like him smoking.
Told you not to do that. And the family friend was like, "What is happening?" Like they thought he was crazy, and but
Wow.
so she still likes to run around and pat people on the heads or yank on your shirt, or
So she's like the older spirit of the building then. Like
she's definitely
one. Yeah. So they don't have a time frame about before the doctor was there when she could. Nobody knows anything about her time frame when something happened to her, who she is, or anything like that.
No, we have not been able to figure that out yet.
Wow. Well, who knows? Maybe I'll do some research and see if I can come up anything help you guys out, because I like doing research. So we'll see what we can do. We have a question here from Kiwi. Are they active without people around, or do they need people around to be active?
Yep, we get things on the cameras all of the time. I actually just sent out another video today to everybody. When I was tuning in to the barbershop, it was inaudible, very low audible. To me, it's definitely a voice. To me, it sounds like a woman humming like church hymns and singing along. That just recently happened again. It was the night that Dark Hollow had left for the night. Angel had said, "Hey, we're packing up for the night, go ahead and set the alarm." And I did that. And then I had got a sound alarm from the kitchen, which prompted me to log on to the cameras. And while I was watching, it sounded like somebody was doing dishes in the kitchen. So I was like, that's really weird. So I start recording, and I see a light turn on from the dining room side of the house, and nobody was in there at all. Dark Hollow just had a really awesome experience there, that they heard a growl and were standing at the bottom of the steps. And in that moment, they heard the growl, the light turned off. Lindsay took off running into the living room. And in that moment of all the screaming and the pandemonium, when I went back to look at the footage, the bedroom upstairs where nobody was, they had a REM pod on the bed. The REM pod on the bed was going crazy. I think they actually today posted a video of that on TikTok.
Wow.
So there's lots of things. Danielle, you can tell the story about when I was there updating the cameras of what you and your coworker saw on the opposite end of the house.
Yeah. So this was when I was at my last contract. So I was in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and Shauna went out and she was updating the cameras and taking them down so she could, plug the wireless cameras in and get them charging. And so I didn't know where she was in the house. I knew she was in the house. So I pulled up the camera and I pulled up the dining room camera, and you can see all of the dining room and through the walkway and a little part of the kitchen at the ramp where it's going up into the barber shop. So all of a sudden I see this like full size body black shadow. And I was like, what the? And it just disappeared. And I was like, so I'm sitting there watching it, and I say to my coworker, Caitlin, I'm like, Kate, watch this. And so we're sitting there and we're watching the camera and we're watching. And next thing you know, here comes that full body black apparition again. And I'm like, oh my God. She was like, what was that? I said,
Oh,
no.
holy moly.
She was like freaking out. She started shaking. And I'm kind of like actually chuckling. And I was like, that was crazy. So I get on the camera and I'm looking around and I message Sean and I'm like, where are you in the house? And she was like, I
had just walked out the front door.
Oh yeah, she left. And she was like, I just left. Why? And I was like, so like 2 minutes ago, you weren't anywhere near the kitchen or the barber shop or the what? And she's like, no, I was upstairs. I hung the last camera. I walked down the steps. I walked out the door, and I'm already out in my truck. And I was like, bro, there was somebody in the house with you.
Wow. That's amazing.
So then I go back in the house and I go into the kitchen while I'm on the phone with her, and she's still watching on the cameras. And in that moment was when she realized that the kitchen and the barber shop were stuck in a time loop.
Yep.
It was the cameras in the kitchen and the barber shop. We actually just had an event at the house this New Year's Eve because of this reason. The kitchen timestamp was New Year's Eve of 1969 at 5-something. And the barber shop was New Year's Day, 1970 at 7-something p.m. Wow. So then we tried resetting the cameras. I called the company. They offered to send us new ones. I switched to different time zones and put it back. Mind you, this is all running through the internet. So the time is the time, right?
Right.
And it would get to 7-something on New Year's Day of 1970, and it would loop right back to New Year's Eve. It wouldn't even continue on.
No.
So in that moment of seeing that is when we realized that the cameras were messed up and stuck.
Wow.
We did an investigation there on New Year's Eve. We did not figure it out what a possible event was that transpired there, but now the cameras are back to normal. So maybe
That's
it just
insane.
wanted us all hanging out there. New Year's Eve, I'm
Yeah, they
guessing.
definitely wanted to be known, didn't they? Jeez.
Something, but yeah,
But the-
there's been some
But
crazy
the thing
things.
is, our surveillance cameras, once they kind of fixed themselves right after our New Year's Eve soiree, our one of our Brittany that's in our group, she was over there taking pictures with her very expensive camera and took all of these pictures and went home and was looking through pictures to see if she caught anything like we all do. And it actually timestamped her camera for what was it, 1969?
1969, New Year's Eve, 1969.
That's insane.
Yeah. And then today, the time loop warp today, were 35 minutes of us being in the house. Just, it was like we didn't even
Right.
exist for those 35 minutes.
Nope.
Yeah. See, we have something here in our dining room we can't explain. We've only been in this house for going on 2 years.
Okay.
And it's not that, I mean, I believe it's a residual. And then we think we do have a cat, a spirit cat. But whatever it is, we have a camera up and we're trying to catch it because so far everybody's either seen a shadow figure walk from like where our downstairs bathroom is through our kitchen and through the room, or vice versa. And they'll either see a shadow or they'll see it like Gabriella tried to explain it. It's almost like Tinkerbell lights, like fairy lights.
Yeah.
Like see that going, and there's nothing that should be causing it anywhere. So we're
Right.
trying to catch that and figure out. There was an older lady that lived in this house and she did pass away before we got the house. I don't know if she died in the house or not, but I mean, there's nothing, that we are concerned about, but it does definitely, whatever it was one day, our dogs, they just turned a little over a year old here recently. They're puppies yet. And our dogs are potty trained. And the one climbed up on our couch and he was staring in the dining room, and whatever it was, it got him where he started peeing, and he didn't even, I don't think he even knew he did that.
Yeah.
And after we kind of said, hey, Max, and we kind of brought him out of it, he looked at us like, why? What did I do? What did I do? So it was, I don't think it scared him, but I think it just caught him like, hey, you don't belong here. Why are you in this house?
Yeah.
So well, we're trying to figure that out, what it is. So we're trying to get some cameras up in here.
Animals
So we can,
have their instincts or something. We actually have a group going in this weekend coming, and they have their dog that travels everywhere with them and does all their investigations with them. And they are bringing her for their investigation this weekend at the Doss house. So I'm really excited to see if the dog hits up on anything. We did take one of our dogs over in the very beginning, and there was some areas that she didn't care for and she wouldn't go into. And watching an animal follow something that isn't there is, to me, that's probably one of the best pieces of evidence you can get.
Yep. See, we have the 2 dogs and a cat, and there's times that all 3 of them will look and just like almost in a trance. Okay, what are they seeing? And we're looking here in the dining room and we're not seeing anything, but they're like almost in a trance-like state. Didn't Damien and Jennifer from 27 Spirits, didn't they take their dog over? Did they bring theirs over to the dog's house? No. Oh, okay.
They didn't bring, no.
I will
Lovely
be
people.
back,
They are
ladies.
really nice people. What did she say?
I'll be right back.
Oh.
Well, the cat, it's funny because cats, I call them crackheads because they're always looking at something. It doesn't mean that they're seeing ghosts or anything. They just kind of look around and look at the ceiling and everything. But dogs, they are so dependent on a person that they are more like, hey, there's someone here that's not supposed to be here. Bark, bark, bark. I'm going to guard the house or whatever.
Right.
So.
Well, it's funny because my husband was, and I'm using the term was, a big, 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 big skeptic. And he just would tell himself, yeah, yeah, you know. Well, when
Uh-huh.
we were down at the other house in South Carolina, he started seeing what we were seeing and experiencing. So he's like, okay, there's definitely something there. And so far in this house, he looked at me the one morning and he said, "Hon," he said, "you're not going to believe this." He says, "There was a shadow following me from the bathroom into the dining room." He says, "It literally, I turned and the shadow was like right there, like it followed me."
Oh, yeah.
And then I think it was 2 days ago, he says, "Hon, I saw these lights." And I said, "What lights?" And he's told me, I said, "Hon, that's exactly what Gabrielle and I and everybody here has experienced, what we've seen." And there, I have curtains up on the dining room window, so even if a car goes by, you could tell the car light because it's up. These lights usually are down lower, and they're like almost like flickering and everything. It's like
Yeah, like Christmas lights, you know, like the flickering Christmas lights. Take that, but take all the lights off except like 3, and then have it just blinkle every once in a while. Yeah, and then float.
Yeah. So
it's so weird.
He experienced that himself, and whether, yep, hon, that's what we've been seeing, and there's no legit explanation for him.
And that's usually what it takes. It usually takes a skeptic for something to happen to them directly.
Yeah.
That kind of gets them to turn the corner. Danielle, do you have vents under your blue-black curtain?
The curtain behind me?
Brian, do you mean the curtain behind her?
Is there a vent at the curtain?
There is no vent, but I do have the ceiling fan on.
I'm curious if he's picking up on something that's there with you.
Yeah, it's probably Sarah, because she's actually very she's very entertained by the what's happening.
Does anybody else in the audience have any questions for Danielle or Shauna?
Oh my God, I'm blind.
Yeah, Brian goes, "Oh my God, I'm blind."
I'm like that all the time. Everybody makes fun of me because I'll be like squinting up on the screen and they're like, "Put your glasses on." I'm like, "I don't want to. I like to squint."
I know he asked before if you knew what the name of the little girl was, but I think you guys have just answered it prior to that, saying you have no idea who she is or anything like that.
Nothing definitive.
I'm really hoping we can figure it out, though, because I'd really like to be able to call her by her name.
Yeah, I mean, she seems to be like a popular spirit there, so hopefully, maybe she'll even say her name sometime. You never know.
We're hoping. Like I said, it's such a new location. We've only been in there since October, so we're excited to.
Brittany, do you like fried chicken?
I think everybody's group, like, you know, out of having fun, has like their weird little sayings that they like to ask spirit. And our good friend Amy is the one who started that one with us. That I think she had picked up from another group. So she was.
I kind of figured that was something.
Well, that's the thing too. Like when you're investigating, you don't always want to say, "Is there a spirit here? Can you move something? Can you knock or whatever?" You want to change it up a bit. So you say like, "What's your favorite pizza topping? What's your favorite color?" Something like that.
I think kind of Dark Hollow. I think for Dark Hollow, they always say, what is energy? What does energy mean to you? Like they obviously have an ongoing thing within their group that has relevance to something. We're all like, they say that and they all laugh and we're all like, what does this mean?
I like asking if they know what year it is. Do you know what year this is?
Yeah,
and
that's
just curious to see if it comes up either through them or on a spirit box or you know, whatever. But it would be interesting if at one time they said, "Yeah, we're from 1802." You know, like, okay. Ooh.
Yeah.
You have another question, Kiwi. Is it suitable for a new paranormal investigator?
Is the location suitable for a new paranormal?
That's what I think she means.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Without a doubt.
Michaela
I-
says
It would probably be a really good spot for a new paranormal investigator.
Hmm.
The girls
that's the
got
two
Emma.
names that they got.
Yeah, the girls got Emma and Emily, Michaela said.
I think
Somebody,
we actually have gotten Emily a couple times.
yeah,
So maybe that's her name.
Who knows?
Yes,
I see
Amy,
you
I
guys
know.
have some really nice sweatshirts.
Saw
Do you
my
have
really
any to
nice
show?
sweatshirt.
I just
Danielle
made.
has a
Hey,
new one on today. Danielle has a new one, Amy.
I
I
like
just
that.
Speaking
just
of
made.
that,
Hey,
our Creep It Real Festival this June 21st, will be in Loretto at the Doss House and across the street there. Are having tons of vendors, lots of celebrity guest appearances and speakers and activities for everybody. I think Chloe's going to be dropping the full list of our guests tomorrow, which I've already told quite a few people who's going to be on there. The podcast I did last night. So we're going to have Santiago Cirillo from The Walking Dead. He's going to be there this summer.
Nice.
Have world-renowned psychic medium Patty Negri is going to be
I
there.
know her. Well, I don't personally know, but I know she is.
She's going to be there. Another guest, pretty popular celebrity. We haven't gotten confirmation yet that she's going to be able to attend, but when I do, I will release that. Investigator, author Ernie Atwell is going to be there. Psychic medium and Reiki healer Stacy Lee, another good friend that does all of that as well. Beth O'Brien will be there. Lots of, like I said, lots of speakers, lots of lecture, lots of workshops we're going to do. Tossing around the idea if anybody wants to do a private public investigation with Patty. We're probably going to sell some tickets for that. If you want to do like some VIP meet and greets with anybody, we're going to be selling some tickets for that. Outside of the individualized events that we're doing, everything's open and free to the public.
Awesome. And we want to be there.
Absolutely. Tell everybody, bring everybody. It's going to be a great day. You can check the house out. We have lots of local vendors and vendors from afar that are coming with all of the, the neat little things that they make from paranormal equipment to candles. And there's so many things I can't even think. Crocheting and home decor and
Nice.
you think that it's going to be there. On top of lots of readers, some people that throw bones. There will be Reiki healing offered for a couple people. Ernie will be there with his books and his haunted doll that he travels with. So yeah, lots of stuff. Like I said, Santiago will be there doing autographs. He'll have some of his merch that he sells as well, and along with Patty as well. So it's going to be awesome. We are so excited.
Don't forget your right hand girl, babe.
Huh?
Larissa.
Oh, Larissa Rex. Not sure. Do you guys know who Larissa Rex is?
No.
Yeah, how did that one slip my brain? Larissa Rex will be there as well. She has been a lifesaver for me. This is obviously the first time we've ever done or collaborated or tried to put anything like this together. The initial thought was, well, let's just have a little kind of like a community days for the Doss House and have a couple vendors and a food truck and just get everybody in the community together, not thinking that it was going to blow up into something, as big. And I sometimes I still have to remind people, guys, like, I know you're excited and everybody loves and wants to come see the Doss House, but it's still, at this point, it's just a festival. It's not a Paracon. We don't have the space to have a Paracon or anything, but unity is what it's about. Bringing the paranormal community together and having a good time and good fellowship and do some ghost stuff.
Absolutely. And with that, go ahead.
Maybe helping some people realize that the paranormal world isn't exactly what you might think it is, or helping you realize that there's more to us and to the world of paranormal than what some believe it to be.
Very well said. Exactly. Yep, exactly. Well, with that being said, what we want to do too is as you're planning this June 21st event, anything you may want to announce or include on it anytime, please feel free. Contact me at any time. Like
Awesome.
I
Thank you.
contacted you. We'll open up to you to have you back on the show for any updates. Anybody that's going to be guests there, you can more than welcome to share them to us, and we can promote them on our channel for you to help you out with your event. That's the same thing we were doing with Angel and Lindsay and them in Dark Hollow for their Paracon. So it's like you said, it's all about para unity, and we'll do whatever we can to make this all come together.
Absolutely. And for anybody out there that vends something, we are still looking for more vendors. We have quite a few spaces still to fill. So if you have something or you just want to promote your group or just, we have lots of space left available too. So,
well, we might hit you up on that because we're going to talk to the owner of the jail, see if he can get us a bunch of brochures and stuff and that that made up, because we want to start promoting now that we're opening back up again for the public. We got some things we're scheming and that too. So it's all about helping each other out and making everybody successful. And you guys have a wonderful place there. We cannot wait till we can get over there. When we get over there, maybe if you don't mind, maybe we can do a live.
Absolutely.
Everybody's welcome to. When you have the house, you can go live from wherever you'd like to. If you want to host a podcast from over there, have at it.
Awesome.
Whatever you want to do. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be hitting you back up here soon. And like I said, keep us in mind. Anything you want to promote, advertise on, we'll be more than happy to help you out. And man, I'll tell you, you ladies are lovely. So far, all the people we're meeting and having on our show and talking with have been phenomenal. And it's nice to see all this unity instead of all that ugliness that we see in some of the other parts.
That's what we're all about. That's what we're all about.
So if there's not any other question, Kiwi said, are they close to you, Diane? Loretta's not all that far away from us, Kiwi.
10 minutes.
They're not that far away. So
skipping a jump from where we are.
Yeah, so
absolutely. If you want, if they want to come up for the weekend, if you're at a distance, hit both locations. Give a weekend full of paranormal investigating.
Well, the owner of the jail, what he's trying to do is we're trying to work along with Crescent right now to try to do some kind of a 2-for-1 or something. Places like yours, even if we can get all together, he's working on trying to get a shuttle service going. So the people that don't have the capability of traveling to the locations, his shuttle service can pick the groups up and take them from X place to the next place to the next place to help make it a lot easier on the people that might want to do a double-decker or a triple-decker that wants to, especially if they're from pretty good distance and they have to travel and have no place to park in it. So
yeah.
We have a question.
We have another question for you real quick. Brian, have you guys had anyone from the church question what you guys have been doing, especially with being in Loretto?
As of right now, no. Nobody's really questioned that. The church has not been very cooperative on letting us use their public parking lot for our festival. So, and that's fine. We just, figured out a solution to that, and instead of it being free public parking at the church, we just had to pay for parking.
No big deal. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, they're entitled to their thoughts and their they haven't really. Nobody in the town really has done anything to.
I mean, the mayor is ecstatic with what we're doing.
They usually are, because it's revenue for the town too, and recognition.
The mayor is ecstatic.
Yeah.
Like, this little town needs some excitement. It needs, people here complain that there's no business coming in and we need this and we need that. Like, he's already trying to convince us to open up a pizza shop out there.
Wow.
Like, oh yeah, but there's nothing there. He's like,
there isn't
something like, and he even said to Danielle, like, man, you guys really mean business. You say you're going to do something and you do it. And we're like, oh yeah, we don't screw around, buddy. Like, we're in this for the right reasons. And,
you only can go far if you're a go-getter. So, I mean, the way you guys came across the house and got it all started is amazing in itself. So I wish you guys the best of success. And it sounds like you're heading in that direction.
Yeah, it's going well. No complaints there for sure.
Well,
And in a year, we'll come back and we'll talk about our second one.
There you go. There you go. You already got the plans, right?
Oh, she always has a plan. She always has the next plan.
Is there no, you don't have a YouTube channel or anything like that. You just have a Facebook page or?
They do have YouTube. We have the Doss House on YouTube and Unique Paranormal 1.5 on YouTube.
Okay. Did one of my moderators put their link on for them at any time?
They did the Unique, but they need to do the Doss House.
Okay.
One. That's the one I didn't see yet.
Yeah, they're both there, but they're fairly new. So, I mean, the rules for YouTube, you have to have XYZ amount of followers before you can go live or anything. So, if everybody can get over there and subscribe to get us up a little ways so we can actually start going live from there, that would be awesome.
Because it's harder to YouTube than it is anywhere else.
Yeah,
absolutely. So please go on. Please go on and subscribe to them. Give these lovely ladies business. They deserve it. Be Squared wants the link for Dark Hollow. This is for Unique Paranormal 1.5.
Hey, Dark Hollow is a great group too.
Awesome.
Yeah,
we promote everybody. Be Squared. Yeah. I mean, everybody.
You can do Dark Hollow Paranormal. You can do Unique Paranormal 1.5. You can do the Doss House. There's some other people that was in here that had other YouTube channels.
Please subscribe to us, like and subscribe, because we plan on having guests like these lovely ladies on more often. Since we haven't been able to get very many investigations in, we want to keep you up to date on the paranormal world itself. So please subscribe to these lovely ladies. Please subscribe to us so we can keep updating you.
Before we leave too, we wanted to also say that we have paranormal investigations coming up.
Spit it out, Junior.
So we will be posting our investigations soon, but we have some locations up for us. So we won't be just doing interviews. We'll also have actual videos up soon.
Now, Shauna and Danielle, are you booked full for February?
We have one weekend left available. February 7th and 8th is available. And then the last week, during the week is, how that works. During the week, you can usually always get in. Weekends fill up fast, but so for February, we're running a special. Our weekend rate is the same as our weekday rate for the month of February. So we have one weekend left. I believe it's the 7th and the 8th, I believe. And then only Friday, the 28th.
Now, are your weekdays, are those overnight too, or are those limited hours?
Nope.
Do you have limited hours at all? Like if somebody wanted to do a 4 or 5 hour?
Okay. Nope. Ours is 12 hours. You choose the time that you want to start. And then your 12 hours starts from there. We do offer late checkout for groups that travel in from a distance. No issues there. We have a dual group if you have a very large group, because we don't recommend more than 8 people in there at once. It is pretty tight quarters. It's not a huge location like the jail. Like you have to worry about cross contamination and stuff like that with evidence. So we don't recommend any more than 8 people, and that's kind of pushing it sometimes. So if you do have a large group, we do offer a large discounted rate if you book 2 nights.
Well, we only have 5 in our group, but if we do a weekday, we would only be able to do like 4 or 5 hours because of her husband works and other members of the group work. So every situation is different. And
if there is somebody like that would like a partial night during the week, unfortunately, with the way things are going, we can't do something like that on the weekend, so that it's open for people who do want it all night long. But if you guys want to come for a partial night on a weekday, if anybody does, just get a hold of me and we'll definitely work out some pricing according to what fits your needs best.
Awesome. Because if it's a weekday, it would be part-time, but if it was a weekend, it would definitely be the full 12 hours.
Yeah,
but
sure.
It's just a weekday.
We're very laid back, very easy to work with kind of people.
Awesome.
So we want people to get in there and have a good time.
You ladies are so lovely. I mean, meeting you over at the jail, I knew you guys were sweethearts, and we can't wait to actually meet you again in person over at the Dawes House, and we'll try to work something out, because I'm hoping, we're just waiting for see what our income tax return is going to be and if we're going to get anything or not, and try to get something set up around that, because it's always the issue.
I hear ya, for sure. But yeah, and if you don't get out to us before we get to you at the jail, then we'll see you there.
Well, we will be happy to see you again, but one way or another, we're coming to the Dawes House. So one way or another. So we will see you over there.
Sounds good.
But again, ladies, go
ahead. Public investigation. Like sometimes we do run the public investigations too.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, and that's not just individual. Like if the two of you want to come out, Michael and Ashley from Dark Hollow, they come quite often. Occasionally, if I'm bored and I want something to do, like 2 weeks ahead of time, I'll throw a post up that says, hey, Unique Paranormal 1.5 hosting a public event at the house. And I'll sell like eight. Well, I think last time it was six. Because someone else won. It was like 6 tickets, 6 spots available. And it's very reasonably priced to come and investigate for the night.
Okay, awesome.
So yeah, just keep an eye out, or anybody who, likes to do that kind of thing on a whim and you want to shoot over just for, I think we usually do it for about 4 to 5 hours.
Okay.
The longer ones, I think the last one we did was about 6 hours. It ranged about $75 for a couple. But prior to that, we did a 3 to 4 hour one. It was $25 a person to come hang it out, check out the house.
That's not bad at all. That is really very affordable.
We do some contests every once in a while. We just had a group win an overnight investigation at the house. They're going to be coming next month.
Oh man, and it wasn't us.
So yeah, watch our platforms: Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. We post, stuff all the time with contests and little, last minute events that are very affordable for everybody to come to. Or there's a lot of times if you're just in the area and you want to pop in and I happen to be there, more than willing to let you come take a walk through real quick. No problem.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you ladies are wonderful. We are so happy to have you on our show. Contact us, like you said, anytime, any updates, any information you want to share with anybody. If there's anybody that that you want to promote them and we'll promote them on our show, it's all about everybody getting together, and we always try to bend over backwards to help all the others as much as we can. They help us too. So it's pay it forward and a unity thing. So. But let's see, did we have another question there? I thought I saw. Do you have a website for the Dawes House, or is it through Unique?
There's a Dawes House YouTube, and then there's a Unique YouTube, which you already had the Unique one. But there's also the Dawes House one.
Best way to find us, honestly, is on Facebook or TikTok. My good friend Larissa Rex is actually in the process of making us an actual website. But until that's launched, the best way to find us is on Facebook, TikTok, or YouTube.
Awesome.
If you have any questions or you need a vendor application for the June 1st Creep It Real, just shoot us an email at thedawshouse278@gmail.com. Quick way to get a response from us there too.
If any of the admin mods caught that, and if you want to hurry up and put that down on there for everybody. But yeah, we look forward to, like I said, meeting with you guys and helping you guys. And anytime like that you want to promote something or we can help in any way with the promotion, just we're here for you, and we'll do whatever we can. You guys, Abby, is there anything that you want to ask him? Okay, I guess, this was a phenomenal night. It was just so enjoyable having you ladies on here, and it was such a pleasure speaking with the two of you and learning all about the Doss House and your personal experiences and everything. So we cannot thank you enough.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, we'll see you, and keep in touch with us then, okay?
Oh, we will, for sure.
Okay,
Have a good
thank
night,
you.
guys.
Bye. Good night.
Bye.